Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Fraternity Foodie. This is lucky episode number 113 of Fraternity Foodie. I am your host, Mike Ayalon, CEO of Greek University. We call these episodes Fraternity Foodie because there is nothing like great food to bring people together. Today, we have with us LaTasha Williams. Over the last 14 years, she has been noted by senior leaders of Fortune 500 companies as a talent optimizer. She has held senior HR roles, leading the full cycle talent acquisition and learning strategies. She is seamlessly aligning HR and business in key HR roles, often serving as a keynote speaker for workforce planning committees and focusing on developing the future talent in the state of Georgia. As a recipient of Top Women in Grocery, a next generation leader, a top millennial career strategist for talent development and recruitment, she has demonstrated talent for developing learning strategies that cultivate greatness using workforce development trends to create winning learning paths. As the CEO of Modern Millennial, she has helped thousands of professionals since 2011 from entry level all the way through executives to help build their careers to success. Welcome to the show, LaTasha.
Hi. It sounds nice when you say the bucket.
You know, everybody always says I have that radio voice, and I tell them I think you're right.
I just need you with me. I just need you to introduce me everywhere I go.
See, I'm not good looking enough for TV, but I can introduce you on radio, no problem.
Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about your background, because I'm really kind of fascinated how you've built this career. So you started out by going to Kennesaw State for your undergraduate experience, which is very close to me, of course, in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice.
Yeah. So what made you choose Kennesaw State?
Oh my God, great question. Go Owls, by the way. I could not start off without saying that. So I definitely chose it. And by the way, this was before they had a football team, right? We had the football team coming t-shirts. So we didn't have it at that time, but I selected KSU because of the mix of the fact that the school was still close enough to the city, you know, if you wanted to still have fun in college, but still far enough away where you still got that mix of even though it was a larger school, but still a small school feel because it was in Kennesaw. So I just thought it was a good combination of having the best of both worlds. So it really stood out to me when I was looking for schools to apply to.
That's a great answer. And it's really funny you mentioned football coming, because when I went to school at the University of Buffalo, we had a football team, but they really weren't very good. And it wasn't until many, many years later do we now suddenly have people going into the NFL from the college program. And I'm like, where was this great college program when I was there? It wasn't there when I was in school. So, and you're also,
it's always when you leave. It's always when you leave.
I'm like, what's up with that? Why wasn't it there when I was there? I'm jealous. So
that's cool.
Yeah, you're also a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So what made this organization the right organization for you?
Great question. And, you know, although I think just joining any group, when we talk about fraternity and sororities, it's a big family, sisterhood, a brotherhood. I think it's a very big deal and a great way to connect with people as you kind of grow up and learn. But specifically, though, I selected Zeta Phi Beta because of the connection to the fraternity organization. I thought that that was cool to have that really sister-brother feel. I mean, they did a lot of things together. And I thought it was really cool that they both had the service first sort of thought process. So, but more specifically, though, about at Kennesaw, I selected it because the chapter, I always knew I wanted to join one, but I wanted it to feel like an extension of my family because I'm the oldest of 6. I wanted it to feel just like that. And this chapter at KSU really made me feel that way. And I also wanted to understand the business of running the chapter. So the mechanics, not just the partying part of it, even though that's super fun, but I wanted to take some things away from it, and just I was able to get an opportunity to join and then quickly become a chapter president and really learn a lot of the things that actually really helped me today. And we may go into it later, but really going and being a part of sorority helped me do a lot of the things, helped break me out of being super introverted, which is amazing because I have a job that I speak to like thousands of people. I've had it for so long, but a lot of the foundational things really helped me out. And that was all from joining a sorority. But yeah, that's why I selected that one in particular.
Yeah, you and I are so alike in that way. I was also an introvert coming into college. You would never
Yeah,
catch me on a stage in front of
right.
3,000 or 4,000 people. No way. But now I
No,
do it no problem. And it's because of the
no
fraternity
problem.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
I'm so
Same
glad you
thing.
got that experience. That is amazing.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
really good. So you have over 10 years of experience and over 2,000 careers developed, restructured, and hired for in HR, recruitment, career building,
Mm-hmm.
consulting, talent development. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
where did all of this passion for HR and recruiting come from?
Oh, right. Well, it really just boils down to being able to be in a position where I could take chances on people, like people took chances on me,
Mhm.
finding untapped talent. I mean, it really just came from that. And I guess just personally on the journey to finding my own voice and my own power in a career sense and being the youngest and all of those sort of things. So that just kind of seemed to be the best fit where I can continue to make an impact. And I was thinking, even while in college, what would I do in a career that would allow me to, if I would still do it for free? Now we have to work, right? But what I mean by that is the fact that I love it so much and I can be a part of someone's pivotal career journey, which is getting a job. You know, usually in our careers, we're at work more than we're at home and with our loved ones and our family. So that's the minimum baseline of it. But it really came from that drive of in my own career, being very, like I was telling you earlier, young and navigating it, being very, like I know I can make impact. Really, I should be the CEO, but I'll settle for a management role. So it just kind of helped me do a lot of that and help people along their journey. So that's what really drew me and what continues to draw me into this industry, even for what I do for my own business.
Yeah, I can tell right away you're a people person. So I think you're definitely in the right business. I love that.
Nice. Thank
So
you.
you've been working with the modern millennial consulting and career coaching business for 6 years now. There you do
Mm-hmm.
some strategic and optimized resume reviews, career coaching and consulting, leadership development. Today's college students, I will tell you right now, what they care
Yeah.
about most is jobs and a career, because the job market is so tough right now. I mean, let's just
It
be honest,
is.
you
It is
know?
with when it's so hard. But I definitely have some tips. It's very hard, but if you think about millennials, right? We did this is like the second recession at this point, not to this extreme, but kind of similar to that. But Modern Millennial, like you said, is my own company. I've actually sort of unofficially though been doing it since like 2009. Actually, my first coaching job, I like to say, that Kennesaw State. It was a professor, and it was a guy at the time, a male, and he was like, "How are young people reinventing themselves?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll teach you that if you teach me your skills." And it just kind of started from there. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. But some things, though, I think that would help you and your resume shine during this time frame is really learning how to match your resume to job profiles. And it's really an open book if you think about it, really matching your skill set to that and looking for ways and opportunities now that you can close any skill gaps that you have. And I think that'll help move you forward in the future as companies are, right now trying to figure out what does the future look like. You're going to be able to help create that a little bit. But the first part of it is helping to make sure that your resume matches, looking for any skill gaps or opportunities that you have. And honestly, if I can I give a hack right now?
Of course.
Okay, so what really helped me early on in my career as far as like with my resume, because I had minimal skills. I mean, I was looking for ways to shine and be in the places that I wanted to. But what really helped me, and this is why I teach looking at job profiles and that sort of thing, what I would tell you all is to pick about 4 to 5 jobs that you like, and copy and paste the actual words in it to like a word cloud. So I usually use Wordle or Word It Out or something like that or similar, and look for words that are repeating themselves over and over and over again, because the baseline of a word cloud is that the more times it shows up, the bigger the word actually is. And use those words to be in your resume. It's actually a little sneak hack. It's kind of a small way of how the applicant tracking systems work when you're applying. It's the way that you can get keywords and looking for that. And then, now that you have those big words that are showing up and repeating, obviously that's important to the jobs that you want, making sure to embed that in your resume or getting those skills that you're missing. So that's some of the things that I would definitely tell you to how you can make your resume perfect for any job is to use the job profile like an open book.
I like that a lot. Is there any way to make sure that my resume and my talents, my personality stands out? I mean, should I make it like colorful? I mean, what should I do to make it stand out?
Okay, a few things. Well, you mentioned about the color. I think the color would depend on what type of job that you're getting. So colors kind of fare very well for those marketing, the sales, that sort of thing. If you're looking for a corporate job, I would probably pick 1 or 2 colors. And honestly, and this is what came in college too, because I took a psychology class, the psychology of colors. So I would stick to that. Like last year, it was classic blues. So I would definitely match that. That matches to how the human eye kind of tracks it. So that's hack number 2. But some of the ways that you can stand out, I think I would tell you all, is to really think through as you begin your career that you cannot compete with anyone based on their years of experience. I mean, that took me so long to try to learn. I was like, why don't they trust me? I don't want to be here 10 years to show you this. But really honing in the fact that what you bring is your brain and that forward thinking skills. I think that's how you can stand out a little bit. I've been a major fan here in the last couple years, and I did this so long ago, but leveraging platforms like LinkedIn to really stand out in different ways. And now that we are in COVID and we can't really do a lot of the in-person interaction, and if you're introverted like me, recording videos of yourself, but of your elevator pitch. So in a professional video, just kind of we're talking right now, and post that on like your LinkedIn. So employers and recruiters, hiring managers can really get to know you a little bit. So that same 90 seconds, that same answer to tell me about yourself, going ahead and recording that, putting that online, or leveraging super creative things like making yourself a website. I'm thinking if you're graphics or project manager, or any of those sort of things where you can show samples of work. Those are just some of the things that you can use to stand out. So leverage what you do right now, social media, recording, posting, videos, but then merge that into doing it in a professional way. And it's definitely helped a lot of my clients stand out.
I love that attitude. I think that's fantastic. So many people say, well, I don't have the experience that they're looking for. And I'm saying, well, talk about the stuff that you do have. If I look at their social media account, like their Instagram, suddenly I see that they have like 1 million followers on Instagram. I'm like, this is amazing. These are tools that people need for their companies. So if you don't have the experience, but you do, have a really slick Instagram account, show that.
Right. And then to your point, I mean, how did you grow that? That took you understanding your audience, leveraging that know, like, and trust factor. You had to plan this out. You had to learn the art of storytelling, whether you realized it or not. Like, those are some of the things that sometimes we don't translate because it's more personal. But to your point, companies are trying to figure out how in the world do I leverage social media? How do I grow it? And like I had to quickly learn, you have the skills that it takes. You just might need to position it in a different way.
I love that. That's a great answer. Now, let's say I'm a business owner, which I happen to be. I really want to, I really want to improve the skills of my employees, but I don't have the time personally. And I also don't have the resources budgeted to figure out how to do all of it on my own. So how can we make the most of my employees and their potential?
Yeah. Oh man, I love that question. Actually, what really drives me. So I think some of the things you can do as a business owner, I myself do one, is helping your employees understand their piece of the puzzle. I think that's very important in your business. If you think about what social media has revealed and COVID is revealed, more so, it was there before, but more so that employees want connection right? They want to understand that they have an impact and their impact is known on the job. They want to feel like their boss trusts them, that they're empowered. So I think connection is really what retains people, and people work for people. So what you can do as a business owner is spending time with your employees, understanding what they know, what they need to know, how helping them understand how they impact the business and how they can use these skills no matter where they go, whether it's moving up in your company, taking on higher level roles, or any of those sort of things. So I think as a business owner, sometimes we look for such grand things and expensive things and new programs and books and all those things. And really your employees want to know that they're being heard and that you really take an interest of them.
Yeah, that's a great answer. One of the other things that I've noticed about Gen Z in the workforce is they want to have a
Mm-hmm.
variety of skills. They don't want to
Yes.
just be in like one area and that's all they see. So I think if you can
Yes.
develop almost like a training program where they can shadow a whole bunch of employees and learn what everybody does, I feel like for them, that's going to be an added bonus to stay with the company because they get exposure to a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different areas. Am I right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And that's what I mean by helping them understand what their piece of the puzzle is.
Hmm.
And that is to help us strategically align things. I need your foresight and all of those things. So you're absolutely right. Gen Z is all about that, creating an entrepreneurial-like experience, but in the workplace. And that's really what's gonna help you out. Millennials are like that too. They just want to be the owners of it. So they want to kind of create their own path. So give them opportunities to do so in your companies. And then, right before that, Gen X, give them opportunities to share their knowledge. They've been known as kind of the middle children. So kind of all collectively, it all definitely works together. But honing in on that, I think the baseline is understanding what they know, what they want to know, how that aligns to your business, and how they play a big part in that.
Right. Very nice. Now, you and
Mhm.
I obviously know the value of public speaking because it's helped us to grow our business. So, how can professionals learn how
Mhm.
to speak better and how to have a winning presence that will command rooms when they get in a room of a bunch of other professionals?
Absolutely. So I usually take a different approach because I started to think through, just like you said, how do I command the stage, command the room? I'm tired of them telling me I'm the youngest one and they have shoes older than me, like that sort of thing. But
Don't say that.
speaking better, in my opinion, has to do with feeling like your message is worth hearing, starting with yourself. So I figured I couldn't start speaking on a stage unless I started in a stage of one, and that was to me. So a lot of mirror practice, a lot of recording myself on video, a lot of sharing that to other people and asking them what they thought about my message. So I think believing in what you bring is very, very key. I think that's the first step, knowing that your voice, whatever you're sharing, and you yourself really leading with confidence, and that kind of helps. I think what has helped me and some of my clients, though, has been a lot of practicing like a speech, and imagining that you are catching up with a friend and telling them pretty much what they missed. So I try to think when I first started speaking a lot, these are a room full of maybe my old high school buddies or college buddies or any of those sort of things.
Mhm.
And I'm just filling them in on what they missed. So that really helped me, versus looking at all the eyes that were staring at me. And then the other thing I would say is leaning in and learning the art of storytelling. Definitely, if you phrase everything and tell your story just like it is, just like you're talking to someone, that really helps you when you're trying to command audiences. It helps you in a corporate sense and a business sense, any of those things, in order to really connect with people, because that's what people are looking for. They're
Yeah.
looking for that connection, and that whatever you're talking about resonates with them, or they can see themselves in you. So those are just some of the things that have really helped me and some of my clients.
Yeah, storytelling is a really great point. And I would say to anybody, think about some kind of success story. When you go into these networking
Mhm.
type of situations, somebody is going to say to you, "What's new, LaTasha?" That question
Yeah.
is coming,
Hmm.
like it's going to come. So when it does come, have that success story of something that happened over the last
Yeah.
week or two that you can
Mhm.
share, and you already know what story you're going to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that's helped me along those same lines is I encourage my clients to create a brag book. So it's basically like really a Word document and any great things I do, or I either do it on a phone, like a notepad, or even a voice memo, like, hey, that was good today. Like, let me share with myself what I did, so that when you get these opportunities, I use that to help people create like an elevator pitch, or even in your speaking engagements or those sort of things. But that has definitely helped me gain the confidence. But yeah, that's definitely a cool tip that I even still use today.
The brag book, man, that is an
Brag book.
excellent piece of advice right there. I mean, I was talking to somebody else on another interview, the interview right before this, and we were kind of talking about that because a lot of us,
Uh-huh.
I think when we look in the mirror at the end of the day, sometimes it's really easy to think about the negative things, right? I
Yes.
stumbled over this
Mm-hmm.
word in a speech, or I didn't
Yeah.
ask the right question. And instead, he
Mm-hmm.
changed his whole philosophy. And then when he went to bed, instead, he thought about all the great things that happened that day. And that's
Yeah.
really what he focused on.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up waking up the next day in such a better mood because he really ended the day on a positive note, right? The brag book.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely have a brag book, because then, some of the things that you do that are awesome, amazing, that I find is things that we kind of take for granted. You're like, yeah, I'm always called upon as a lead, or yeah, when I speak, people listen. All those things really help you later.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now, can you guide us on how we can develop career goals? I'm thinking about the next 30 days, 90 days, maybe the next year. How should I start writing
Okay.
out these goals?
Okay. You're not Gen Z, because a year, that's like 100 years from now.
I'm not Gen Z.
It for me, I'm like 3 years. Okay, okay, so 30 days. I think some of my tips would be, if starting off at 30 days, would be define your goals. What is it that you want to achieve? What type of careers do you want to be in? Those sort of things. I used to be like, I'm just going with the flow. I just know I need to be at the top, wherever the top is. But along the way, definitely defining those goals really helped me kind of make sure that everything that I was learning and doing and accomplishing was meeting to those end goals. So definitely a career goal in mind would be good, even if that changes along the way. Just having one in mind. The other part of 30 days, though, is have people understand the landscape that they are in, meaning the job landscape. So if right now, virtual is in, what kind of skill sets can you learn that'll help position you later in that? Or social media is very popular for companies. What kind of skills do you need to learn in order to get those type of jobs and stand out? Another thing in a 30-day time frame would be definitely to clean up your LinkedIn profile. So dust them off. I know I had to dust off mine, like, oh, I did that for that class. Where is that password? That sort of thing. But LinkedIn definitely needs to be cleaned up, so you can really start to leverage the art of virtual coffee dates. But I'll get into that in a more 90-day time frame. But clean up your LinkedIn profile, make sure it tells a story, just like we were talking about in public speaking. LinkedIn profiles can do the same thing online. If you haven't already, go ahead and clean up your resume, refresh it, refresh it with CAR statements. So CAR stands for challenge, action, results. We want to make sure that we're pulling out the best of the best, the things that you've accomplished, that you've led, that you've created. So definitely spend some time doing that. And then, like I just said, my brag book or your highlight reel of your successes. So that's what I would spend time in the 30-day mark. And then in 90 days, once we've done all of those sort of things, looking for inspiration, start to network purposefully, though. So that's when I was talking about on LinkedIn, definitely those virtual coffee date invitations, really diving into learning from people that are in positions that you want. I mean, before, it might have been a little awkward if you were going to reach out to some people, but now that most of us are working from home or remotely or any of those sort of things, you definitely have more of a chance to get some things done. And then while you're networking in these 90 days, look for ways to be able to provide value to whoever you're networking with. And then I would dip my feet into applying for some roles once we clean it up. I mean, you don't know where you stand until you start applying and getting out there and seeing. So I want you to apply. I want you to get some responses, and I want you to be able to self-correct. In the realm of self-correcting, definitely starting to learn some new skills. So in 30 days, I said, clean up your profile. Now we're going to start looking at job profiles. We're going to start assessing that dream job that we want. What is absolutely missing, and we're going to look for some ways to get it, because the benefit that younger generations have now is everything is online. It's literally free. If there's any skill that you need, I can probably find a free resource wherever it is. So we're going to start bulking up that skill set, because that's how we counteract the years of experience notion. In 90 days, I would also encourage you to start getting engaged with industry trends, and then linking up in Facebook groups and just really tying into the industry that you want to join into, because I don't know what hack I'm on, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know. But one of the strategies, though, is that recruiters and hiring managers, they look in those groups for interested people. So let's say you want to, project manager is a super popular one right now. Join some project manager industry groups, start networking in those groups with recruiters, because you can actually message anyone in a group. There's not a lot of limits like it is for a regular message. And then recruiters actually utilize in those groups, because on the other side, what that looks like is this is someone that's really tied into this industry or wants to learn more or super committed. So this is where I also want to go to source for talent. So that's what I would do in a 90-day range. And as we get into over the next year or this year, look for opportunities to continue to provide value. And what I would ask you to do is start to show up as a mini expert. So whatever you're passionate about that you can share it on LinkedIn. I think I saw a stat, I think less than about 10% of people even write things on LinkedIn, the articles and those sort of things. So looking for ways to engage, because we want to build you up as an expert as you are connecting out there with other professionals. Because guess what? The first thing they're going to do is look on your LinkedIn profile and look at what you've posted, and also look at your skills and your experiences. So those are some of the things I would do. And continuing on, lastly, to over the year is continuing to close those skill gaps. One of my fave websites is allison.org. I don't know if I can I say that on yours? Do we have to pay them? But allison.org is a site that I really love. There's a bunch of free there's a bunch like this, but that's one personally that I like. There's a lot of free courses that you can take. There's certificates that you can get. And that's what I mean by understanding the landscape that you're in. So you want to go into social media roles. Let's go on, Facebook and learn those ads. There's free Facebook training, Google training, social media ad training, any of those sort of things that you can start to bulk up your skill set. So that's some of the things I would suggest in the next 30, 90, and over the next year.
Wow, LaTasha, that's gold. I hope everybody was taking notes on all of that.
You'll have to pause and write it down for sure.
I think that's fantastic. All right, so I'm sure many of our listeners right now are thinking about, how do I get promoted at work? Because everyone's always looking to move up the corporate ladder, get more experience, make more money. So what are some ways to get promoted at work and move up the corporate ladder with these increases in pay and increases in responsibility? How can you do that?
Yeah. Good question. So, my coaching is around strategy. So I'm going to give you a strategy-based answer and some things that really took me a while to learn. So hopefully I can save you some time, but 3 questions. Who are you in your job? What do you stand for? Like, what value do you provide? And why does it matter to your employer? When I figured all that out, I no longer had to seek any jobs. They started to seek me. So I think those are definitely a few of the questions that you should start working through. If you only seek a high paycheck and not really understand what truly is your value, that paycheck is tied just to the job. It's not really tied to you, or it may be short-lived. So I want you to hone into those 3 questions that I just said. And then another thing I would do is, in your role right now, look for ways that you can do more and expand your, what I call, career tool belt. You have to create cheerleaders, if you will, and cheerleaders really are the people that help you move forward your career. And those are people that shout your praises. They can talk about your work. They've been recipients of your work, or maybe have worked with you. And that's what you really need. In addition to a few others, I kind of call it my career board of directors. You need a cheerleader, you need a coach, you need a few different people in your employer. And I even talk to people about this, even if you dislike your job right now, more importantly to do it right now, this job, because that'll teach you just preserving, getting through things, tenacity, all of those things. So my advice to you is to really think with a strategy in mind and really look for ways that you can do more where you're at so you can show more, because the benefit is twofold. Your employers will see it, other people will see it. I've done this so many times and taught my clients to do this in ways where they've been able to get promotions and be recommended by people that they didn't even know were looking at them. They didn't even know that they knew their work. They never really talked to them that much, but these are people that just witnessed their greatness, if you will. So those are some of the things that I would definitely suggest that you do, because what we want you to do is continue to get pay increases, continue to move forward in your career. We don't want you to get held back. We don't want that pay increase to be just a lucky chance. We want it to be because you're going to continue to get it moving forward. So we're not going to miss any steps. So those are some of the things that I think you could do to get promoted right now, while also building up your resume in the process.
Great advice. I absolutely love it. Now, we love to eat really good food here at Fraternity Foodie.
Hey.
So I'm wondering, you're in Atlanta. I mean, I could hop in my car and hit up these restaurants real quick. So what's your favorite restaurant in Atlanta, and what do you usually order?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm crushing on right now, and I just went to it, but it's amazing. It's called Barney's Breakfast and Brunch. So it is kind of close to downtown in the Decatur area, but it is amazing brunch. I had a smoothie there. I had a 24-karat gold pancake. It was, I mean, it's not the whole thing, right? It's sprinkled with it on, obviously, but it was very amazing. It's a newer restaurant, but you're gonna have to get on a wait list because the food is really, really great.
That sounds wonderful. I'm going to go there tomorrow. It sounds so good.
Well, see if you get it there first. You might have to wait a little bit, but it's good. It's good.
That's really good.
Look up the reviews. You'll see how good it is.
All right, I'm going to go check that out. That sounds amazing. So if our listeners are interested in your services, what's the best place for them to go to learn more and to follow you?
Yeah, awesome. Well, after they binge listen to this a couple of times, then I would love for them to go ahead and check me out on my Instagram. It's the Modern Millennial Careers. Definitely go ahead and check me out. Links and bios there, all sorts of goodies for you. Or on my website, modernmillennial.org. I have a very comprehensive book that I just released, which is really cool. It's the LinkedIn Success Code. So if you're looking for ways to continue to grow your career and leverage these platforms so you can move up faster, then this is definitely the book for you. But either on IG or on the website is the best way to reach me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, LaTasha. This has been so much help, especially to college students that are listening right now. They're going to have to go back and listen to it again and write everything down because the information was gold. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Can I end off with a good hack, or not even a hack, something that just helped me while in college? And I had to quickly do this because literally I got my job when I was there. I went to a last chance career fair. I legit just did not want to go back home and explain this to my mother. So I had to quickly figure it out. But what helped me is if you're you have some time before you graduate, maybe it's in the fall, maybe it's a little bit later, joining some groups. Like we were talking about earlier about being introverted. So I joined Toastmasters while I was in school that last year, just to really hone in on, okay, I want to give speaking engagements. I want to get better at that. Took a psychology class. I'm like, well, I guess if I talk to people, I should understand them, right? So those sort of things kind of help me. So while you have some time and while COVID is going on, look for ways to, on your campus that you can bulk up your skills. That'll really greatly help you.
This is fantastic. And for all of our listeners, if you like this, definitely like the video, share it with other people that are looking to get jobs, people who want to move up in their companies, because I'm telling you, it's gold. Listen to everything LaTasha says, and you're going to do great.
Absolutely. Trust me, I was you. I went from server making $213 an hour to getting to six figures before I finished college. So you can do it. Everything I told you, you can do. I'm not just telling you just because it sounds nice.
Good for you, LaTasha. That is awesome. Well, listen, this has been a pleasure. So much fun. Thank you so much to you. Thank you so much to our listeners. And we'll see everybody on another episode of Fraternity Foodie. Bye for now.